Y'all, I am a Black Caribbean woman learning French. And I haven't really made a lot of peace with that yet. I haven't. It's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. Let me tell you why. Um, because I am a Black Caribbean woman. Because Haiti is my next door neighbor. I am Jamaican. And if you know anything about Haiti and what France has done and continues to not do and do, or in terms of just immigration and French speaking countries that France has colonized, in terms of France's current policies in relation to countries that speak French across the African continent. Like, it's just not great. It's not great. Okay. It's not great. Yet, I want to learn French. I want to visit France. I want to travel all around France. I want to be immersed in the culture and the people and the language. I want to learn from French culture and people and language. I want to understand. So this is side note, y'all. This is a big reason why I am learning French in the first place, is because I want to learn from other cultures, people's languages. I want to travel. I want to be in the world and I want to see what version of myself emerges, learning from and being connected to and living in and experiencing all of these languages. I want to be a polyglot. I have said that on this channel before, but I haven't like explicitly said it very openly. I want to be a polyglot. I want that to be a part of my identity. I want to have a whole list of languages. I want to learn to speak, categorize them by continents, by spaces that I want to be experience and be in because of my history as a Black person, but also because of the nature of the place, the physical features of the place, aspects of their culture that fascinate me, the food. Hello, the food, la comida, la nourriture, the food. Okay. Yes. Can you tell? Maybe that's the main reason I want to become a polyglot is the food. But for real, y'all, on a real note, I want to like I have this dream in my head that the more languages I speak, the more I can learn about what it means to be human from different cultures and peoples. And when I say what it means to be human, what I think about is personal development and how people wrestle with things like failure, things like goal achievement, things like defining their versions of success. What does success even look like in your culture? And do you agree or disagree with that and why? How you relate to governments, how you perceive your own agency as citizens, how you perceive your ability to create a life, things like perfectionism and people pleasing and how that shows up for you, growing, growth, and like having a growth mindset. Like there's all of these things that I think the Western world has defined for me, and I want to understand more than. And it's not. Let me be clear. It's not the Western world. That's a very broad statement because the West is full of a variety of different countries, peoples, and cultures. So let us be clear. The American coaching industry, the American self help industry, let us be clear. There's a variety of experiences and ideas and just personal development frameworks that the American coaching and self help industry has defined for me. And they have served me 100%. Like I am a better person because of my exposure to these frameworks and principles and definitions. I have grown as a person, as a human, and in my ability to connect with myself and connect with other people, like massively beneficial. I cannot dispute or deny, right? However, there are billions more people on this planet. There is obviously so much more for me to learn. And from people of so vastly differing cultures, frameworks, ideas, perspectives, stories. Like I want to learn. I want to be exposed to that. I want to see what version of myself will I encounter learning from more than just what I have been exposed to up till this point in my life. And this is a desire that I think I've had on my heart for a very long time. Like I've loved languages from the moment I was exposed to Spanish in seventh grade. And Spanish felt like math to me. Because the first thing that you learn is like the verbs and the conjugations, right? Um, or at least that's what we learned in school. Yo hablo, tú hablas, il. Now I'm mixing up French and Spanish as your brain often do. Il, el hablas. That's what I was about to say. Jokes. El, ella, habla, habla. Yes. Can you notice my Spanish accent is completely gone, by the way? But yeah, I learned French and Spanish in high school and then didn't touch them again. And from the moment that I was exposed to Spanish in high school, I wanted to learn languages, and learning languages was such a joy. I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And as I grew older, I kind of started to wonder, like, what do these cultures experience perfectionism, failure, success, personal development as? And is it a thing? And if it's not a thing, what's different? Like, I just started to develop these questions. And I think that the best way to connect with and understand these things is to do it immersing yourself in other people's experiences. And that's a very straightforward answer, simple straight shot to do that is language. Learn the words and the sounds that people make every day in this culture among themselves to communicate, whether about these issues or to even talk around these issues or to imply in relation to these issues, whatever it is, right? But learn the language. Like, and you can watch so many videos on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and other places of what it feels like when a native person sees, usually. I don't think this happens in France very much because France has a reputation. Let's just say. At least Paris. Paris has a reputation. I think other areas in France are a lot more like you can practice your French a little bit more depending on where you go as well. Because I've heard other things about other areas too, in terms of like how they're just like, we just stick to the English, don't even practice, forget it. So acknowledged. But there are, I think, like when you watch someone's face light up because you that they encountered, that they were curious about, they didn't expect to be able to communicate with. And now they can. Oh my gosh, the light on someone's face. I want to have the joy of being in that moment with somebody. And I anticipate, and maybe I'm setting my expectations too high now, but I anticipate the effervescent feeling within my heart that y'all, I went to Korea Fest last year that was held here in Jamaica, and I felt such joy being, it was hot. It was hot. I was sweating. But the minute I sat in front of somebody who was writing my name in Korean, your girl lit up. And I didn't anticipate that for myself, but it was such a moment for me. It was such a moment for me. And I anticipate that feeling in front of somebody when I can speak their language. I anticipate that feeling when I can connect with them and they can be heard and seen by me, and I can feel heard and seen by them. I feel like that's gonna give me a similar effervescent feeling, and maybe I'm wrong, and I get to find that out too. And so I want to learn. I want to learn language, I want to learn cultures, and I want to engage with the world in this way. But y'all, the first language that I'm doing that with is French because my plan is lock in my French and my Spanish again. And I had started Spanish before I started French. So French is the more tenuous um language right now. I feel like if I pick up back Spanish, I can get Spanish. And I went all the way to Cape, which is like I guess A levels in the UK. I don't know what the equivalent would be in the US. Maybe Spanish and French honors, maybe that. I was reading Spanish literature, y'all. I was writing French essays. So like I knew the language. And quite frankly, I can still read fairly well. I mean, vocabulary is still an issue, but like I usually understand tenses and things like that, what is trying to be communicated in written word. Ask your girl to listen and understand. Ask your girl to speak and understand and know what I'm saying. No, maybe it's not an abject failure of an F, but it's probably like, if we're to grade it, C minus. It's bad. Um, and maybe I'm over exaggerating. Maybe it's not as bad as all that. Maybe it's like a C plus. Bottom line, your girl has some work to do, okay? And so I want to get those two languages solidly, and then I have a list of like 12. And I know I have God willing, I have my whole life to engage these languages. So I can spend a year on each one and like take my time, right? Um, but I have a list. I have a list that I want to get to, and therefore countries that I want to visit and cultures that I want to engage in and be present in and learn from and make friends within, etc. And since France is the language that I'm doing first, or French is the language I'm doing first, I definitely want to visit France. Y'all, I think about that though, and I look at what this country has done to Haiti in its not so long ago colonial past. And I look at what it's currently doing within its borders to French immigrants from, especially from like the continent, the African continent. And I look at its policies and I look at um I look at how in many ways like there's this weird kind of favoritism. Because even if you look at the World Cup right now, like I've seen people commenting, and no, hear me, I don't watch the World Cup, I don't know squat about World Cup, right? But I've seen people commenting about the French team being literally just full of African immigrants. Immigrant like young men who have come from immigrant families. None of them are like, and I don't want to say none because again, I don't know about this, but like the majority of men playing on the French team right now are of African descent. And I am just like, and then them playing actual countries in Africa who also speak French. And I've seen some commentary around that and some people calling that out. And I am just like, say, you can cheer them on when they're winning you the World Cup, but you don't want them in your country. And you will disadvantage them and reject them and make policies not favor them in current day while continuing to not even acknowledge the harms that you perpetuated within your not so distant colonial history and the harms that you continue to perpetuate across the continent in these countries. You won't say a jack thing about it. You won't change your policies. But when them winning you the World Cup, allez bleu. Y'all, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna be real with you. I want to go to France. I want to experience the French culture. I want to dive into the food. I want to learn the language well enough to actually not be offensive to French people. I want to like practice my little heart out, really get my French accent locked in and sound, even if I sound like an immigrant, at least don't sound horrible, you know? Um, but at the same time, when I look at these things, I feel gross. I feel like I shouldn't want to go. I feel like I should not want to go. Because what do you mean? I actually want to experience the culture of a country that is this resistant to even acknowledging the harms that they've committed. I don't know. That's not much more stopping the harms that they're currently perpetuating. I don't I don't feel good about that. I don't feel good about that. And as a black woman, when I look at Haiti, my next door neighbor, and I look at how France ransacked that country and left it like the way they left it, and how Haiti has still not recovered. That's sickening to me. That's very repulsive to me. And so I'm like, okay, I want to go see a country. I'm probably not even welcome there. Do I want to go? I want to go, but do I want to go? Shepa, I don't know. I don't know. And I don't, a part of me is like, well, Chelsea, the desire to go and experience all of these different cultures and peoples and languages that you want to experience and to learn from them is not a bad desire. It's actually a desire that is a good one. It's to be celebrated. It's a desire that's oriented towards personal growth and development, and that is a good thing, right? So I acknowledge that the desire in and of itself is not bad. But the the reality of the culture and the system within which I walk, like I'm going to walk into, visiting these countries and these cultures and immersing myself in them, and the reality of the system that my ancestors lived under, perpetuated by these countries, by these empires at the time, because Britain didn't behave any differently than France. Like, hmm, hmm. Did not and is not, by the way. I'm like not so distant past, but also current day mess, right? Um, the systems I am a product of historically, and the systems that are now being upheld, those two things clash, right? My ancestors were slaves of the Empire of Britain, quite possibly even of Spain. I don't know. Both the Spanish and the English colonized Jamaica. I think the French colonized an area, but they didn't get very far, if I'm remembering my history correctly. Um, so like I am a product of a system of empire, right? Just like looking historically. Um, and the current system that resists the results of its own making, because you made this is your colonizer mess, right? That we are living in right now. And you will not even allow being a very strong word in and of itself, but like, okay, we'll choose that word. You will not even allow the people that you colonize, that you still currently exploit, to be celebrated in your country just because they come. No, they have to be on a World Cup team for you to cheer them on. You don't recognize their value to your economy, even outside of your borders, much more inside. And I'm going to come to your country and celebrate what you are. I don't want to celebrate that. That's a mess. That's a mess. That's deep lack of humanity. I don't want to celebrate that. Um, but I probably will. Because let's be real, French food is a thing. And that too is a product of empire. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where I sit with all of this. It's messy. And I talked about in another video how I feel towards Japan and how this extends to nearly every other country, because the fisher, like, seafood is such a huge part of Japanese culture that it was the first country that I thought of on my list of countries that I want to visit and languages I want to learn and places that I want to immerse myself in. But the idea of consumption and exploitation of the planet and of people is not exclusive to Japanese culture, and it's not exclusive to French culture. It's a thing that I think we run into in any country. In any country, once there's human beings, we are very good. We are exceptional at taking from one another and taking from the planet without regard for consequence. We are brilliant at that. And so I think any culture that I run into is gonna be the same thing. And so where I'm sitting right now is one, awareness, just being aware. So like before I go to France, actually reading, being abreast on the current issues as it relates to their former colonies and how they relate to them and policies on their books, like actually knowing what the culture that I'm walking into, and how it relates to power and exploitation and consumption. um I think awareness is a huge deal, and not painting every culture with a rose-colored brush of like, no, because I love this dish in front of me right now, French culture is amazing. Not all of French culture is amazing, not all of Japanese culture is amazing, not all of Jamaican culture is amazing. No culture is clean, no culture is just, no culture is 100% without exploitation or corruption. um So I think a part of it is awareness. And then a part of it is also probably something that I'm gonna add to, because like what I often want to do in these countries is, of course, like meet people, travel to places, eat food. But I also want, when I say travel to places, this is like I'm a country girl, I'm not a city girl. So yes, I want to see all the landmarks in the city and stuff like that, but I also want to see the nature of the place. So I want to go on hikes. I want to drive around the country if I can. I want to like immerse myself in the natural, physical nature of the country. But I think another thing that I can add to my list of things to do is to find the people who are doing the work that is combating and resisting this kind of exploitation and corruption in their own country, and see if there's a way to volunteer while I visit as well. Um, but the people who are sounding off against this kind of harm that has been perpetuated and continues to be perpetuated. I think that's something I can probably add to my when I visit places. In addition to like, okay, Chelsea, we have to see the nature. We also have to meet people. We have to eat the food. We have to volunteer. That's kind of where I'm sitting right now. I don't really have any other solution, because the thing is also, this is not my place. These are not like, I don't have roots here. This is not my country. And so even if I can look at and notice and observe the harms that are being perpetuated against people and the environment, my voice should not be the voice that is centered in the conversation around change. I don't like that. That for me would not be justice, because my voice is not the most affected one. Like, I am not the most affected person. I don't live here. And so I tend to feel like I have an opinion, but I don't have a say. I have a perspective, but I don't have a say. And there are other people who have a say. Let's back the people with the say, you know? So that's where I'm sitting on this right now. But I'd love to hear from y'all. Where are y'all sitting on this? Is this something that you have felt before, wanting to go to a country and experience a culture, but also recognizing that within your own history, this country has been an empire and harmed your own people, and continues to harm people like you, and resist and reject people like you? How do you sit with that? Do you wherever you come from, you don't have to be black to talk about this, right? Because there's so many other ways that this shows up, other outside of ethnicity and race. um so yeah, I'm curious if this is something that has come up for you, how you're feeling about it, how you are addressing it, how you're tackling it. Well, just your thoughts and your perspectives. Do you feel like you have a say in these countries? Do you feel like it's like me? Like, I have an opinion, but I don't have a say really, because I don't live here. Um, yeah, I'm curious. And if you are an aspiring polyglot, drop the languages you're learning in the chat, in the comments below. I want to hear. Let's do this. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I will see you in the next one. Take care.